Hi, my name is Philip James, and I gave this talk at the new Modality Launch party on May 18th, 2019, at Borderlands in San Francisco. In 2014, when she was accepting a National Book Award, Ursula K. Le Guin said, "We live in capitalism. Its powers seem inescapable. But then, so did the divine right of kings." Le Guin wrote science fiction for nearly 50 years. Her writing from the beginning confronted the reader with themes about power, about what shapes society, and how that shaping could be changed. Le Guin's first novel was published in 1966. That same year, a science fiction television series by a former Pan Am pilot premiered on NBC. This series documented the voyages of a starship sent to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, and to boldly split infinitives where no infinitives had been split before. Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek is one of the most famous science fiction series in history. Throughout the course of its decades of television and movies, Star Trek confronted viewers with themes about power dynamics, equality, how societies and civilizations form, and how those societies and the people within them grow and evolve. One of the key pieces of backstory to the whole of the Star Trek universe is that human society in the 24th century has become effectively post-scarcity. Over the course of the series, it is implied or outright stated that in this future society, everyone's basic needs are met. In the film Star Trek First Contact, Captain Picard says, "The acquisition of wealth is no longer the driving force of our lives. We work to better ourselves and the rest of humanity." Star Trek is a piece of fiction, a work of science fiction, but it's a work of science fiction with real-world effect. Cell phones and 3D printers and Bluetooth and a cornucopia of the inventions of multiple generations of scientists and engineers can trace their inspiration to Star Trek or some other work of science fiction. Science fiction has changed the world. Gene Roddenberry was not a physicist or a chemist or an electrical engineer. He was the co-pilot on a flight that crash-landed in the Syrian desert, and he decided to look for a change of occupation. He also wasn't a lone wolf genius. He, like all artists, had a support network and the funding to bring his stories to life. And his stories inspired people who are chemists and electrical engineers and creators of all kinds. In that same speech at the National Book Awards, Le Guin said, "Any human power can be resisted and changed by human beings. Resistance and change often begin in art." Right now, we're living in some pretty dark times, dark times that have human power at their roots. If you're familiar with the term grimdark, the times we're living in and the future we seem to be heading for feels pretty grimdark. Are we seeing the beginning of a dystopia? Are we approaching the cliff of civilization? Are we the architects of our own great filter? The overwhelming theme of pure capitalism, like the theme of the divine right of kings, is a message of grimdark. Its core message says, humans only act in self-interest, so trust in the market or in divine leaders to keep you and yours safe. The antidote to grimdark that I believe in and strive for is hope punk. Hope punk, by the author who composed the term, is genuinely and sincerely caring about something, anything. Hope punk isn't ever about submission or acceptance. It's about standing up and fighting for what you believe in. It's about standing up for other people. It's about demanding a better, kinder world, and truly believing that we can get there if we care about each other as hard as we possibly can, with every drop of power in our little hearts. If science fiction is imagining a future world based on the world we're in now, then optimism is an act of science fiction. And as we saw from Star Trek, science fiction can change the world. If we take Star Trek's post-scarcity society as our inspiration, then we're confronted with the fact that they had to get to their society starting from where our society is today. If we want a better world where everyone's basic needs are taken care of, where the acquisition of wealth is no longer the driving force of our lives, and where we work to better ourselves and the rest of humanity, then our starting point for making this real is today, and our inspiration is the arts. As we see from Roddenberry and Le Guin, art can and does change the world, and investing in the arts is one of the ways we invest in the post-scarcity future for our species. This is why things like Kickstarter excite me and why I work at Patreon. We are, on some level, trying to create a post-scarcity society for artists out of the scarcity society that capitalism is currently thriving in. We are, on our best days, using capitalism against itself by funneling as much money as we can to independent artists. We don't know if any of these artists will be the next Roddenberry or Le Guin. We can't know if the resistance against grimdark will come from artists we help fund. but we can choose to be hope punk about the future, to pull together towards a post-scarcity world, and continue to support the artists who might inspire us to make that possible. Thank you.